Affirmations are extremely powerful and can play a huge role in your journey to becoming your higher self. They have the ability to rewire your subconscious mind and your beliefs and can really aid in shaping your entire reality. But I know for a lot of people, and for you probably, sometimes affirmations feel like lies. So, what I mean by that is when you say an affirmation with the intention to feel that affirmation, like you say, I am wealthy, I am beautiful, I am confident, I am rich. And for whatever reason, when you say that, you immediately feel disconnected from it. You will get a bunch of thoughts that flood your mind that kind of try to disprove that statement. And so, what that will look like is like you say, I'm wealthy, and then immediately you think, no, you're not. No, I'm not. My bank account, you think of like your bank account, you look at your actual physical circumstances and you're like, I'm not wealthy though. And you just feel completely disconnected from that affirmation. So the resistance isn't necessarily a bad thing, okay? It's actually kind of a good thing when you think about it, because it shows exactly what belief in your mind needs work and needs rewiring. It's a very clear indicator of what belief that you have that needs to be rewritten. So if you're not believing that you are wealthy and you are not feeling and seeing that in your life and being able to affirm it confidently in order to attract that and embody that personality and that higher version of yourself, we're going to see why. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to make affirmations feel like real, true statements and not just like words that are just being thrown out into thin air with no significance, and how to make them feel aligned and true. And without any of those little thoughts coming in your mind to interrupt you and try to disprove the belief that you're trying to believe. So the good thing about affirmations is that no matter how you feel about the affirmation, your subconscious mind is still hearing it. So as long as you still keep saying, I am beautiful, I am abundant, I am rich, even if you don't feel it in the moment, your subconscious mind is still hearing it and is still registering it. So if you keep saying it and keep repeating it over time, your mind is going to find ways to prove that to you in your actual reality, and it is going to integrate as part of your identity. But feeling the affirmation is just a whole different thing. It feels like truer embodiment, and I want you to be able to feel your affirmations as true statements and not just like silly pretend statements that you don't actually align with. So, you know that I'm obsessed with affirmations. I do not shut up about how much I love affirmations, and that's why I talk about this so passionately. And that's why I want you to use them so much, is because I know the power that they hold, and I want you to possess and hold that same power. The power of affirmations, and your word is so powerful. I love affirmations because they are an immediate choice, okay? It is a statement that you can just make as a choice. You literally decide a want that you want to feel. I am abundant, I am confident, and you just decide that that's a command that you want your body and your mind to obey on the spot. I am confident, I am disciplined, I am structured. You're telling yourself who you are and who you desire to be. It is a command. It is not like a request that you're making to someone else. You are affirming to yourself who you are, and your subconscious mind hears that and it has to obey. It has to. But they don't always hit like the powerful statement that they're supposed to. So in a time that I felt like I was just telling myself lies and affirmations, I woke up just not feeling good. I was not feeling well. I was not feeling happy. I was not feeling fulfilled. And it was so off. It was so off for me. I was like, I don't know what threw me off balance, but I was like, I'm going to journal about it because that's what you do, right? So I went to sit down and I went to journal about how I was feeling. And I kind of tried to just like override the system. I was like trying to force myself to feel the emotions that I wanted. And I started affirming, and I was like, I am abundant. I am a positive thinker. I am happy. I am, fearless, etc. And immediately all my mind could think about was every opposite of exactly what I was saying. Every time I told myself I am powerful, my mind would throw out a thought that would make me remember about a time where I was not powerful and be like, no, you're not. Look. It was kind of just like, here's the physical proof that I have in your mind and your thoughts that disprove this. So don't even try to think about that because I don't agree. And it was throwing out all of these thoughts, and I literally was just trying to keep going, right? I'm like writing. This is so weird because I'm left-handed and I'm like doing this with my right hand. I'm like writing and I'm trying to kind of force myself to feel the affirmations that I was feeling, and it was just not working. And I was like, just stop. Okay, I usually obligate myself to write like a page every time I go to write something in my journal. If I start, I finish to a whole page. Okay, I'm always like, there's thousands of thoughts I think in a day. I can definitely just fill up this page real quick. But I was like, just stop. This is not working. You are not feeling good. This is supposed to feel good, and it does not feel good right now. So let's see what is going on here. Why is my mind doing this to me where I just want to feel this amazing emotion and it's throwing every opposite at me and making me feel worse? I just want to clarify that these were not limiting beliefs. Okay, a limiting belief is like having a belief that like I can only be successful if I work blood, sweat, and tears and really hard, or I'm too old to start trying to get a degree, or, you know, things like that. So I didn't have any limiting beliefs. These are actually my beliefs, but my body was still pushing out thoughts. My body was still pushing out thoughts to disprove this anyway. And those little thoughts that were coming at me are what I like to call my wounded protectors. Okay, you have wounded protectors, and the way that I want you to think of these wounded protectors are like, say you have like a toxic ex who hurt you very badly, and they come back into your life with all of these promises, and they're like, hey, I know I did XYZ, but I want to get back with you. Immediately your mind is going to think of every bad thing they did before you make the decision on whether or not you would let them back into your life. You'd be like, I don't even want to entertain the idea of being back with you because I remember all the negative emotions that you made me feel when we were together and you did whatever it is that you did, right? Even if the toxic ex were to say, no, but like I've changed, like I went to therapy or whatever, your body remembers that hurt and that pain that you felt, and it doesn't even want to experiment. It doesn't even want to dive back into that territory again because it's not even worth the risk or the hurt that is a potential that you might feel in the end. So as pretty as the words that they say may sound, the risk is not going to be rewarding. You just don't even want to attempt to go there. And so that is how I want you to think of your wounded protectors. They felt, maybe you told yourself one time, you said you were wealthy, you affirmed it, you felt it, you felt confident, and then you came across something online that you wanted to buy and immediately told yourself, I'm broke as dirt, I can't afford this. And so that felt very heavy. And immediately you may have thought of that information and just laughed at it as a joke. Like, how did I affirm this in my life? And then I go to buy something, some new shoes or some new launch of clothes that came out, and I can't even afford it. Or, you know, you see a car that you really want to buy that's like a luxury car passes you on the road and you're like, I'm not wealthy because look at that car. Like, that's actually wealthy. Like, look at me. Look at what I'm driving. And so you took yourself up here and you made yourself a promise in your mind with this affirmation. And you were like, I am such and such. And then you hit yourself mentally. You like plummeted and you fell and you thought a really heavy emotion. So when you go to think that positive affirming thought again, your mind doesn't want you to even go there and climb to the top of this mountain because it's going to think that you're just going to jump off and hurt yourself again. It's going to be like, don't even think about that because the last time you said we were wealthy, you disappointed us and you spoke negatively and made us feel very heavy emotions thinking about the lack you have in your life. And I don't feel so abundant and you don't feel so abundant. Don't lie. We're going to take this belief and we're going to push and remind you that you're not wealthy. So you don't even try to feel that high feeling and then fall, you know, it's just like you don't want to get hurt by your ex. You don't want to entertain this really high thought that sounds like very promising and good if your reality doesn't match. So these wounded protectors just want to keep you safe, okay? If you affirmed, I am confident, and then a time for you to speak up about something or stand up for yourself or walk into a room with presence, you didn't do it and you've been affirming that you're doing it, your mind is going to be like, no, you're not. Look, we have proof. cue the roll the tape of the memory of her walking into that room with her head down and really enclosing herself. She's not confident. And so you go to affirm this thing and your body's like, no, you're not. And then in that moment where you weren't confident, you probably felt very heavy and like disappointed because you know you're supposed to be affirming and feeling this feeling, and you've let yourself down essentially. Here's what you have to do so that you can say the affirmation, because you want to get to your higher self, right? And she affirms things and she says them and believes them, and you want to believe them so that you can feel that feeling and rehearse that feeling to become your higher self. And so in order to do this, you have to create a little bridge for your wounded protectors to feel safe going across. And so what that would look like is, instead of saying, I'm wealthy, you would say, I'm open to receiving wealth. Now, your wounded protector is like, okay, that little bridge is for something for it to cross. Like, it's not like a full jump. It's more of like, okay, this is unknown territory. I think I can get to believing this. And another one is like, I'm confident. You would say, I am practicing being more confident. You would say, I'm learning to embrace confidence. I'm practicing how to be more confident. I'm allowing more confident feelings and experiences to flow through me and come to me. Now that is believable to your little like wounded protector. This way, your subconscious mind doesn't immediately reject it. It's not like, well, no, you're not. That statement is you're reaching too high. It's like, okay, I could see it. Yeah, she's learning to be more confident. It's hearing confidence at least. It isn't just, jumping straight to one extreme or the other. It's like a good balance that'll allow you to be able to practice your affirmations. And then later on, as you integrate more confidence, more wealth, more abundance into your life, you will get that feeling. You will be able to say the affirmation with less resistance. So as your bridging statements help you to feel more and more of the feeling genuinely, then you can start with the stronger affirmations. Remember, it's not going to hurt you to say the direct statement because your mind hears everything that you say anyway. So as long as you keep saying, I am confident, you'll eventually get to that real confident feeling, or that really nice, wealthy experience that you're trying to, or whatever it is that you're trying to attract that your higher self has. But it didn't just stop there. There were other things that I integrated on this day of me journaling that really helped me to release all of that doubt. I released all of my doubt and heaviness in that same journaling session. I did not walk away until I figured it out. And so I have the key for you. So number one, I started playing, I think it was 396 hertz Solfeggio Frequencies. If you know about Solfeggio Frequencies, the different frequencies can help with different things, but there's ones that help with negative emotions and removing negative thoughts. And so I will put either in the description or on the screen the Solfeggio frequency that I listen to whilst going through this little roller coaster of affirmation emotions, and what a frequency helped me to get rid of some of those negative thoughts. So as I'm like literally helping my little wounded protectors, I also did some emotional freedom tapping, EFT tapping. It's where you tap on the karate chop point, your eyebrow, side of your head, underneath the eye, underneath the nose, on the chin, on your collarbone, and on like 5 inches, I think, underneath the armpit. So there is a science behind emotional freedom tapping. It's where you tap on these specific points of your body, the meridian points of your body, and on the top of the head. And tapping on these points are similar experience to like acupuncture. And this really helps with any blockages that you have or any limiting beliefs, doubt. It also calls the amygdala, the part of your brain that kind of has that fight or flight response, which was very important in this journaling session that I was having, where I was feeling a lot of like doubt and like kind of like half beliefs. But this helps to calm and help your body accept new beliefs. And then the last thing that I remember is that you are not your thoughts. This was the most important thing for me to realize in this moment. As I finished tapping, as I remember, as I'm listening to my Solfeggio frequency of like 396 hertz, I was like, I am not my thoughts. You are the observer of your thoughts, okay? Think of yourself as like the sky. Okay, you're the observer, you're the sky, and your thoughts are like clouds. There are some gray clouds, some really nice fluffy white ones, some scattered ones. There are all kinds of clouds. You do not have to entertain every single thought that you have. You can also think of your thoughts as like you're at a train station and your thoughts are the trains passing by. Like if you have the I am not wealthy train stop, you don't have to get on it. You can just let it pass you by. And remember, I am not my thoughts. I am like literally at the door, allowing the ones I want in and the ones that I don't want out. And so remembering that you don't have to literally give energy to every single thought that occupies your mind makes an immense difference in how you perceive your thoughts and your mind. So I was just like, oh, like I don't even have to entertain these thoughts. I can just let them go because I am not my thoughts. And I can go more into that in another video, but for now, just know you are not your thoughts, okay? You're the observer of your thoughts. And so if you have a thought that you don't really like, that kind of just feels like it walked in unannounced, let it go. Concentrate and focus on another thought, a different thought, a positive thought, just one experience that you know that will always pull you out of the negative one. After that, I was able to journal, and I had literally one of the best journaling sessions after that, and meditation, where I was using how high vibrational I felt in that moment just to start writing and affirming even more things. I was like, you know what? I have it all. And another major thing is feeling gratitude. If you don't feel beautiful, if you don't feel wealthy, if you don't feel abundant, if you don't feel like you're structured, you are not focusing on the good parts of your life that you have, on the abundant parts you have. Think of all the basic things. You have hot water, you have drinkable water, you have a comfy bed, a shower, a device to watch this video on. When you start to think of all the things you do have, saying I feel wealthy feels like a true statement because you think of all the things you do have, and then you can call in and accept even more. That's how gratitude literally will change and shape everything. And I really hope this helps you use affirmations to the best of their ability and all of their power, because they're your commands that you make to yourself. Okay, you like are writing your own computer program of your brain, and you can insert any command that you want your body to do and feel and fulfill. Your subconscious mind, your mind has to bend to what you want to do, not the other way around. You don't obey what your thoughts say, you obey what you affirm to yourself. This is, of course, part of my higher self series, because part of me reaching my higher self involved heavily affirmations. And that's all I have for today's video. Subscribe if you want more videos that are part of this How to Become Your Higher Self series. And that's all I have for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.